My original goals for this class were to, I would say, like, figure out writing tricks again, like learn screenplay formatting again, because I covered it in the bachelor's program, but I was never much of a writer. So I was going into the class just kind of hoping, like open-minded, hoping that I could be more absorbent to the practices of screenwriting. Did I meet the goal? I think I got more. I think I understand it more. And with the times that we were writing scripts, it definitely helped. But I know I need a lot of work. So it's just something you got to keep practicing at. I don't know if I necessarily met my goal. I learned more, which that is sure. That's meeting my goal. But there's so much that I haven't learned that it's just going to take time. What did I learn as an artist and as a writer this month? I learned that I like the more darker genre, the sci-fi genre. I like to think that I'm going to be a horror writer one day, but I also learned that I need to work on my surprise factor. So something going into my next writings will just be setting up and getting better payoffs. The payoffs were something I never fully developed. It just felt like the stories would end. So moving forward, I'll have better foundation for the climax of my stories, and then the payoffs will feel more like an actual payoff. What will I continue to work on? Setting up my stories more in the beginning so that the payoff has more of like an oh wow factor. It feels better watching them, be it whatever genre I make. I think something else I need to work on is I try to direct on the page a lot still. I see it in my screenplays that I've written where I'm imagining scene for scene, movement for movement. I need to pull back from that and give myself more space on the page to be descriptive of the visuals, the visual storytelling, not so much the actors' movements and expressions, down to their expressions. Because a lot of my pages, a lot of my papers and stories were fine, but there's like step by step what I expect the actors to be doing, and I don't want to do that anymore. So give myself more page time with visual storytelling. I don't know if I would want to be a writer. I like writing. I'm sure if I do it more often, if I do it more, I could see myself being more of a writer. But there's a lot of stuff that I take from the class that I'm going to apply, like just from the overall class, to my work, I guess, and to my life. Little things from the class, like the artist dates, were huge. They were nice. They were little getaways where it helps me with my creative process and helps me kind of get down to the roots more and pulls away from the stress of like the academics, which is what everybody needs. Professionally, just overall writing stories that I was thinking of, it kind of gave me more ideas of how to do all the other parts of it, not just the writing, but how to direct the talent for the scene, how to build the sets for the scene, how to light the scene. Like I started thinking more filmmaker just from writing the stories. So I think if I continue to write, then I would start to envision the process more, which everybody needs to do anyways. So I can see myself doing that more. Yeah. if I could go back to the beginning of the class to give myself advice, I would say, anytime you have any idea of a story, just write it down. Doesn't have to be through and through every bit, but it could be, there was plenty of times that I thought of scenes, just like moments in a story. I should have wrote them down, but anytime you could write them down. That way you have something to build off of, because ideas come at you the weirdest times, most random times. So if you can get in the habit of taking note of that, then you can go back and add to them. I think of the, like, when I'd sit down to actually think of stories to write, and like try to force myself to think about it, it didn't come as naturally as just strolling around or doing something or daydreaming and then just randomly falling upon a story. If I had taken the time to write those moments down, I would have had a lot more to go off of. So yeah, if I could go back in time, I'd say carry a notebook and write all your ideas down, no matter how weird they might be. Of the films or of the stories that I wrote, I think the one that I'll take with me to thesis would be Valley. It's like a story about a couple, long distance couple, who introduce an android replicant of the boyfriend for the girlfriend to close that distance gap, kind of. It's in the future. The guy would have him connected through some manner to this machine, but without getting too detailed about it, I think I'd take that with me to thesis, because I like the idea of playing where tech is going to take us as a society in the future. As much as a calling card to who I am as a filmmaker, I think it would tell that I would want to challenge norms in a way. I don't think it's far-fetched to think that that's going to be something that will be more accepted in the future. I think that'll be pretty, not common grounds right away, but eventually, maybe not in my life, but eventually. So that's how I see the future. I'd like to make films that kind of limit test the idea of what does the future hold, and tackle ideas with involving human emotion. Distance is always going to be an issue, but if there's ways to bridge that gap, I think people will try to do it, but then that'll introduce other problems, which I would love to tackle in that story. So that's why I want to take it to thesis. There's a lot of work I need to do on it, but it'd be a fun project. I think it'd open up a lot of doors for opportunity as far as like the costuming, wardrobe, all that, prosthetics, a lot of our art department, which is where I stem from mainly. So we'll see where I go with it. But of the films I wrote, Valley, that'll be the one. So hopefully you'll see it in a film festival. You never know.